Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Welsh Esports League brought to you by Apprenticeships Wales. I'm Milky Serial, and I am joined by Toki as we're heading into match day 2 of the League of Legends tournament.
Yeah, we got some banger matches coming up, especially the second match. That's a special one, but we got one coming up first. But first of all, Mr. Milky, come on. I mean, how are you doing, my friend? We haven't seen you on the screen for a bit, have you?
It's been a while, honestly. I,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm used to being on the other side of the camera recently, so it's good to be back. I'm excited to shout at some League, and I'm a little scared as to how rusty I might be, but I'm sure the rust is going to come off smooth as a whistle, if that's
That's
even a term.
no, I've never heard of that, but sure,
No.
it's a term now. We'll make it a term now. But no, I think we'll be fine because Rust is here as well. So double Rust, double minus equals positive, right? That's how the
Yeah.
things work. But Pit Ponies versus the Goats is going to be the first match that we are going to be watching. Pit Ponies already a win under the belt. Goats looked rough, but they did play against the Pirates, who were incredibly, incredibly strong and we expect them to kind of get towards the top of the league. So yeah, this is about to be a match for the Ghosts to show if they can, actually step up and maybe get a game. Because otherwise, if they can't beat the Pit Ponies, going to be in trouble for the rest of this league.
Yeah, and things would then start to be looking a bit tough. If I recall correctly, we've got 6 teams in the group,
Yep.
and I want to say it's 2 teams that advance through the group, but I might be wrong on that.
Well, I'm pretty sure how this works is we're actually not going to have like a final. We might have a showcase final, so we're going to see like the number 1 and 2 like battle out to see if there's like the quote unquote champion. But this is just a group stage, and whoever ends up first gets the win here. So it's an interesting sort of tournament that we don't see a lot before. I guess you can kind of see it like the LEC winter split, right? Except for the fact that there's no
Or,
playoffs. So
like Premier League and traditional
yeah,
sports in the
actually, good
UK and stuff.
point. I didn't even
Yeah.
think about that. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. So yeah, it's just whoever ends up first is going to take it. So I feel like the wins count even more now.
Absolutely. And it means that if you come up against one of the tougher teams towards the start of the tournament, while you as a team are ramping up, starting to gel, and another team already has everything together, then things can look really sketchy for you to try to claw your way back up the league and hope that the other team have some mistakes. So, as you mentioned, for the Goats, this is a must win game for them effectively, because if you get 2 losses this early on in what are we talking about? A 5 round tournament, things aren't going to be
Yeah.
looking good for you to win the overall table, or things aren't going to be looking good for you to end at the top of the tables with 3 wins and 2 losses.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to decide to do this time because the last time against the Pirates, they went for a heavy, heavy early game composition. The Pirates just went full on scaling, and it has been the story of this tournament, to be fair, because both the wins that we have streamed so far have been all about scaling. So we'll see now that we get ourselves into the draft between the Pit Ponies and the Goats if scaling is going to be the name of the game again. Because we have, by the way, both the games have had a Nasus. Are we going to see a third Nasus? Yes, that is a thing, apparently. And he absolutely popped off. Got a solo kill, I'm pretty sure, in both the games as well. So maybe we'll see more Nasus coming out. We'll see. But we have the draft starting right now. First band's coming in. That one is definitely targeted at Stingy. He had an incredible performance on that Vel'Koz. Not going to give it to him this time.
Well, Stingy's Vel'Koz will be banned away. We're getting the Jax banned towards the top side as well, banned by the side of the Goats, I believe. Sorry, banned by the side of the Pit Ponies. And as you mentioned, that scaling Jax, one of those big scaling champions
Yep.
that is available in League of Legends Champions roster.
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like this might be. We're already seeing the name of the game. Scaling is being banned. I think both these teams realize how strong there is. And again, we got
Yeah.
Victor ban. Lots being targeted towards this mid lane, which is interesting to see because nowadays in League of Legends, you see mid laners obviously are usually picked towards the end of the draft. But this time, they just put so much respect on Stingy's performance. Last time, he got some few solo kills in the mid lane. He was like, I think it went legendary 9-1 and 7 or something along the line. So makes a lot of sense. Something that is not very late game, though, is that Draven banned away from Gomer. So we'll see. There's a bit of a mix here, but I'm interested to see if we're going to get another mid lane ban, if they just really want to try and take out Stingy. But if so, if they ban another mid laner, I mean, what are they going to pick against it? Do they want to look for an early mid lane pick? We see another scaling, well, not really scaling, I guess, but it's good for the late game as well. We got a Shen ban as well. So it's a bit all over the place in this ban phase, to be honest, Milky.
Yeah, but I do really like this Raven ban because I think it ties into what you were saying earlier, Toki, about how Goats like to play. And in that one game
Yeah.
that we've seen from them, they did try to play that early game composition. And Draven ties so well with early game compositions. We've seen it in the likes of the LEC with teams like G2 really utilizing the picks so efficiently.
Absolutely. So we'll see if the Ghosts are going to go for something like that again. I think the last time they went for early picks on the bot lane and the jungle, they had a Vi, the Varus this time, but they're going for the Java. Now, this already tells me once again that they're going to be looking for early game ganks. They're going to be looking to really pilot this Java and get him towards the top, get him towards the mid lane as soon as he can. So we'll see if they're just going to like pick more early game or if they're just going to go once again back to some scaling to make sure that at least the Java is going to carry them a little bit through that early game. But I think the Ghosts, considering they played full early game last time, I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see that again.
The other thing that I quite like with the Jarvan is it does narrow down the champion pool as we get this
Yeah.
really spicy Darius locked in
Yeah.
the top lane. I will go back to that in a moment, but I just want to talk about the bot lane because once there is a Jarvan locked in, I feel like it removes some of the less mobile ADCs, the likes of a
hmm
Jinx, a Misfortune, even a Sivir, and maybe you've got to go for something more like an Ezreal Azai just to have a bit more protection against this backline access that the Jarvan provides.
Yeah, it becomes much scarier to pick that, and that's why I'm a little bit surprised with this Amumu pick, because if that goes towards the bot lane, that tells me that the side of the Pit Ponies want to go in this bot lane, right? Whereas when you play against the Jarvan, that could be very dangerous to do, so maybe it is going to be the jungle Amumu, but then in that case, not. I don't think the best pick against Jarvan. Jarvan tends to be much quicker on those ganks, but we'll see how it's going to go. Jace, this is a meta pick right now. I'm actually pleasantly surprised, to be fair, to see the Goats pick that one up. Very, very strong in the current meta, mainly played towards that mid lane, but with that Darius pick, could be going top lane.
And I'm very interested now as well to see where this chase is going because with a Darius locked in as well, it looks
Yeah.
like both teams really want to play to the top side of the map. Within the Mumu as well, that's a lot of CC to be able to provide the opportunity for a Darius to get those early kills. So I'm wondering now if we're going to be seeing the Goats just doubling down to playing for this top side. If this Jace goes towards the top side, or maybe they put the Jace in towards the mid lane and take a safer top lane pick.
And that's the strength about this pick, right? The pit ponies won't know where he's going either, so you still have that flex with you right now, so they can still decide that later on in this game. As now the Caitlyn has been picked up, that is definitely one of those safer picks that does want to win the lane. However, you want to get the push on Caitlyn, so playing that against the Jarvan could be potentially dangerous. And I am interested to see if the pit ponies are going to decide to ban some supports here. You got the Kai'Sa already picked up, so are you going to ban away the Nautilus? Are you going to ban away those aggressive support picks that can really punish the Caitlyn if she gets called out? And well, that is definitely one of them.
They're going to ban away the Blitzcrank, and the
Yeah.
Blitzcrank feels like a weird ban, so I'm not sure if
Yeah.
TJ is just a bit of a Blitzcrank one trick. Because as you were saying, Toki, I was fully expecting the Nautilus, the Leona bans to come through.
Yeah.
And I personally really want to see the Goats banning away something like the Lux, because if the side of Pit Ponies get this really strong bottom lane with a Caitlyn and Lux, that becomes, and I think the term here is self-sufficient to just
Mm.
bully in the bottom side as much as they want, it gives free reign for Sir Jam over on the top side of just to play exclusively for the top side of the map and get this Darius ahead.
Yeah, 100%. So we'll see what his last ban is going to be. I would suspect a Nautilus, but no, more towards the mid lane being sent off here. Even the Ari from the side of the Goats. So much respect and importance put towards this mid lane. And even though now, we see this Jason, this Darius pick, and you got to think like, okay, you have a Darius, you have a Caitlyn. You probably want to play around one of these lanes, but with these bans, it kind of tells me like maybe they care a lot more about the mid lane. So it's going to be interesting to see what Flex is going to pick up for his team here, as Lulu has now been taken away. Interesting choice. Lulu, let me see. I'm pretty sure actually Brannigan did play it last game, so maybe it's just a targeted pick to Brannigan to make sure that he doesn't get that. But Caitlyn Lulu, not the most common lane, could see it work, but it won't be as punishing as a Lux Caitlyn would be, as the last second has come in for this pick. It is going to be a Senna. Well, that could be
Hey.
punishing, but also risky into a Jarvan. And with Nautilus open, Milky, it seems like a pick to me.
I'm fully expecting the Nautilus or
Yeah.
the Leona to get locked in here. So much dive potential, and it's one of the matchups that I really like in the bottom lane as a support player. When you have got an all-in um, support ADC combo against a full poke ADC
Oh,
support combo. And we've got the Rel. This is all in for the
yeah,
side of the Goats,
yeah.
which is what we were expecting with the Kais and the Jarvan locked in. So it comes down to now, how well can the Kate Senna poke before the Rel Kai'Sa are able to dive in? Because if they don't poke enough, they get
Pick
obliterated.
Oriana. Six, great. Yeah, this is brilliant. So I was gonna just say like they have to just pick a scaling mid. They need some wave clear, so get some wave clear. Pick a scaling mid lane. That's gonna be fine, so that they're gonna be good in the late game. Six works. Oriana works. A lot of the mid laners have been banned, but there is so many scaling mid laners that have good wave clear that they could even have picked Lux mid. It wasn't going to be great for scaling, but it would have fit into their comp quite well. So honestly, like the comp that has been built here for the side of the goats, they've got that dive. They've got the the backline that can poke from very far away. That can siege quite well. So very strong composition now. As now the pit ponies hovering that Akali. Well, that would definitely mean they need to play around this mid lane. Silas could be the same kind of angle. It is going to be the Silas pick. So a very more, how do you call it? More different comp, I suppose, from the side of the pit ponies. But yeah, I feel like they kind of played a little bit into the goats' hands. So draft wise, I think goats, looking at least better than they did against the Pirates for sure.
And one thing that I really want to see from the goats is with this Ziggs pick.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you really wanted to see it, Toki, but whenever I see Ziggs, I want to see that Ziggs abusing the fact that they can very easily shove in lanes, and
Hmm.
then utilizing the fact that they have mid priority to be able to rotate down towards this bottom lane where there's a Rel, and I'm
Yep.
presuming a Jarvan ready to dive onto a largely immobile Senna support. Caitlyn as well, if the 90 caliber net spell is not available.
Yeah, so 100% agree with you there. I think what the Goes need to do is just send everything towards his bot lane here. Yes, you got the Jace in the top lane. You could potentially play around him, but he's against the Darius, right? Technically, he should be fine. So you could say from the side of the Pip Ponies here, like, okay, maybe we then should focus around the top lane, right? Because there's one of these questions always in League of Legends, like, are you going to just keep responding to the obvious plays that the Goes are likely wanting to make with this team comp? Or are you going to look for your own? You're going to try and get a really fed Darius that could just run through their team. It'll be interesting to see.
Was that a lethal tempo that I just saw in Darius? Is this the
Did
new
we?
thing to do? Yeah,
Yes,
look,
I
it's
think.
lethal.
Wow.
What? Is this a
Okay.
thing?
I'll be honest. I have never seen it before.
Okay.
So I'm a little bit surprised, honestly. I'm trying to think why it would be much better either way. But I mean, at this point, it is telling me like,
You can
okay,
get, I guess, your hemorrhage stacks up a lot quicker as a result.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can see it kind of work. I'm just trying to wonder, like, why it would be better than something like Conqueror or something else, right? So, interesting choice here by the side of the Pit Ponies. But I guess what it kind of actually does tell me, I have the feeling now that they're definitely going to be playing around this top side, and they just kind of say like, okay, clearly the goats looking towards that bot side. We're just going to try and go towards that top side, get that Darius ahead. Because one thing with Darius as well, you don't need a jungler when you're ahead to dive someone like a Jace. Jace has no way to defend himself there.
Yeah. And I think this is what, well, I wanted to say this is what the goats were going for, right? By banning away something like the Lulu, trying to remove the protection from the Caitlyn, because
Yeah.
we were a little bit surprised by the Lulu ban, and I think that's because Kate Lulu isn't really, you know, a duo that you
Yeah.
look to pick compared to something like the Caitlyn Lux. But I think the goats were just saying, look, we want to be able to dive this Caitlyn without any issue. Let's remove the Lulu and say who's going to play better, us around the bottom side or
Yeah.
the pirates around the top side.
Yeah, they've just challenged them to the opposite of the map game. So I think that's why one of the big lanes that we should be looking at here is actually that mid lane. It's got most of those ganks, but it's also going to decide like who can actually facilitate the power towards their team better. And I think you mentioned it before that the fact that Ziggs is going to have a lot of push in towards this early game, especially once he gets his ultimate. He has also got that range to help his team. Now, granted, Silas can steal ultimate, so he can also do that, right? But the fact that Ziggs is going to have the push, or should have the push most of the time in that lane, is going to make it very difficult for Stingy, who was the shining star in the last game from the Pit Ponies, to make it happen here. So all eyes on Stingy to see if he can have a performance like he did last game.
And for both of these mid laners as well, they have relative safety. They've got a fair amount of maneuverability. Ziggs, you're looking
Yep.
at that satchel charge that allows him to reposition, get to safety if a gank comes along. And for Silas, you've got the abscond. You can even turn plays with the abduct and the
Mm-hmm.
Kingslayer. So I don't think we're going to be seeing much action in the mid lane, but
No.
as you mentioned, it's going to be about these mid lanes being able to facilitate the plays happening on the other side of the map. And even if they can't facilitate, there's still so much action that is very likely to happen. And I really love the fact this is actually the first time I've been on a broadcast and I've been able to see the runes before we get into game. And I
Yeah.
love how there's already been something really cool to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out to Gizmo, on the production here, because honestly, it looks great. Because last week we weren't able to get this because it took so much preparation. So got to give the man a little shout out for that, of course, because it does look absolutely incredible, and it is very useful, as you said, for us casters to actually see that beforehand, because usually it happens in game, and at that point we may want to talk about what's already happening in the game, right? So it's quite nice that we get that early. So yeah, lethal tempo Darius still surprises me. Still don't really know exactly why and how, but I suppose the best way to find out is to see it in play.
So I do have to introduce you to one of Milky's
Please.
mini games. I
Oh, here
think
we go.
pretty much all of the casters I've worked with have at some point been have fallen victim
Suffered?
to this mini game.
Yeah.
Yeah, suffered. So I think to start off, we're going to start off with a light mini game, which is Toki. Who do you think is going to get first blood?
Ooh.
Yeah,
I thought you were gonna
yeah.
go like full on. Who's gonna win the game? It's like, okay, now first
No,
blood.
no, that's boring.
Yeah,
That's just standard.
yeah. We hear that every single time. That's
Yeah.
true. I'm not gonna lie. As a PvP, I used to ask that sometimes. So sorry for being boring. But okay, first blood. So, well, I think it is going to have something to do with Ninja Yoshi in towards this jungle, because
Okay.
also speaking of, by the way, Ninja Yoshi played AD carry last game. I don't think we even talked about that. Well, we got to pause so we can talk about it a little bit. Ninja Yoshi actually played AD carry for the Ghosts in their last game and is now playing jungle, and they have a new AD carry in Gomo Boy. So that's actually an interesting difference that I didn't even notice at first. But back to the minigame.
Yeah.
I think where it has to be, if it isn't going to be a solo kill, I think logically, I think first blood is going to go over to Gomo Boy and towards his bot lane from an early Ninja Yoshi gank.
Okay, so you're going towards
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna go
Okay.
Ocean Mango because
Yeah, I
I
was
feel
thinking
like
about that.
one to quote a certain Boromir meme, one does not simply pick Darius without expecting to get kills
Yeah.
early on. And even if the Darius fails, what I've tended to experience when I play League is the Darius gets first blood and then proceeds to int. So even if the Darius ints or does well, he still gets first blood no matter the situation.
Yeah, that is very true. And Ocean Mango did get a solo kill, I'm pretty sure, in his last game on the Nasus.
Hey.
So,
Oh god.
yeah. So maybe that will say something about what we're going to be seeing on this Darius here. So yeah, lethal tempo Darius. We'll see. And okay, hold on. But what does the winner like get? Because well, now it's a
What does
pause
the
anyway.
winner get?
Yeah. Do you get anything special for that, or?
Praise.
Oh, you know what? I'll take that. To be fair, can we get like
Look,
an applause in the chat or something?
I'd give you a pat on the back, but this is an online broadcast, so
Right. Yeah, that's a bit rough. Yeah.
I can't do much here.
That's quite sad. That's a great
Yeah.
that's a great reward. That.
Yeah, I know.
Just have to do with praise. Well,
I can give thumbs up.
okay. Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
How about praise and a thumbs up? I think I'll be. Oh, Gizmo will.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
whoa! Hold the phone.
Hold
It's
on.
gotten really exciting right now. Production.
Okay. Okay, so Gizmo has just told us that he's going to give the winner £5. Actually, I don't know because he said he'll give you £5.
Yeah, who's you? It could be both.
I'm guessing you because you were the one who was talking, Toki.
I don't even know at this point. It's just going to be the winner of the minigame, right? Because let's be real.
Yeah.
If the gank bot lane happens and it is Ninja Yoshi who gets the kill, I don't win, right? It's specifically who gets first blood. Either. Okay.
Either.
Oh.
And apparently the MVP of the game also gets £5. Wow, Gizmo, did you just win the lottery?
Whoa!
That's a
Yeah,
lot of money
what's happening
being
here?
thrown around.
It's like the game's paused, so we need some kind of interesting stuff happening right now. I'll take it. To be fair, like a chance to win £5, I'm all for it.
You know, we just need this every single broadcast whenever a pause happens. Just so say,
Yes.
I will give £10,000 and just have a random auction going on.
Oh my god, LEC, please let me cast all the Fnatic games next year. I would love to. Get me some free money. Oh my god. Yeah, Gizmo had the same joke in his mind. Yep, he's putting on the screen for us as well. LEC, hire me. But no, back to the game a little bit. Back to the game a little bit. So,
Yes. Smart.
We are already seeing, I think this might be a defense. I don't think this is going to be something aggressive, although they do have the rel, so they could potentially go for something aggressive. But we can already see the goats, they're kind of setting up for either to counter an invade, but I don't know why the side of the pit ponies would want to invade with their composition. So maybe we might see an early invade. Could be very exciting, and that could completely change this minigame, because who knows who gets first blood there.
I'm just trying to think if the pit ponies could actually get off a decent invade, because they do have the Amumu bandage toss for some stun.
Yeah.
They've got the Senna as well, but I mean, we can see on the minimap that they aren't going for an invade because Ocean
Yeah.
Mango and Stingy are on the top side of the map. We still haven't worked out if we're gonna say Stingy or Stingy.
Stingy, stingy, stinky.
Stinky, Stinky. Just change it completely.
Yeah, I mean, at least then we can both agree with one, right? No, no,
Let's
it
just
was
call
all-
him Apex Predator 29.
Yeah, there you go. Brilliant. That's a good idea. So Apex Predator 9, you're right. He's on the top side of the map at the moment. I won't keep it up. I'll keep it up. Well, actually, now that he said for the MVP of the game, I'm gonna throw a little mini game at you. Who do you think
Okay.
in this game is going to get MVP?
Oh, who is gonna get MVP? Hmm.
Yeah, that's a rough one because now we're talking about
See,
the whole course of the game.
you know, the issue is, right, I can make myself right by just giving the MVP to whoever I vote for.
No,
Um,
that
and you can flip it against me by just voting for whoever I don't say.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Well,
you know what?
how about we
I
just be
think
fair people?
we be. I don't think that's possible.
Yeah,
You know,
maybe
to be
not.
completely objective. Okay, but I'll give an answer. You know what? I'm gonna say Brannigan. I feel like this is a Senate day.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's a risky one to pick as well, you know, considering they're going to be
Exactly,
played against.
exactly.
I respect it. I respect it. Okay, okay. Well, my MVP. Ooh, I'm gonna kind of go for a spicy one as well now.
Yeah.
That sounds fun, but who could be the spicy one?
Yeah.
You know what? I think barrel
Stingy?
mustard. Yeah, I was gonna say
Barrel mustard,
stingy,
yeah?
stingy, but I. I'll stop. But I'm actually gonna say barrel mustard because I actually feel like Stingy has been looking so good that it'll be a great show for barrel mustard to potentially even get. I don't know how, but I feel like he's just gonna somehow get some sort of solo kill in his mid lane. It's probably not happening, but I'm
Right.
just gonna put it out there.
Okay. Now, do you want to hear something very exciting for this game?
Yes, please.
Both junglers are starting on the bottom side of the map, which means if we are going to see early game, it will be towards the top side.
Yeah, quite surprising as well, because we talked about how Ninja Yoshi wants to go for early bot lane, but this, maybe, you know, maybe after the golems, he might want to go in if Flex and Brannigan decide to push towards this bot side. But yeah, likely just going to be moving towards top, and that should actually make Ocean Mango very happy, because in a 2v2, Darius can be very devastating early on into this game.
Ocean Mango, once he gets level 2, he can try to start abusing Love Eternity, but he does need to get level 2 first, and I feel like that's a little bit difficult when you're a melee Darius against the ranged Jace that Love Eternity is playing.
Yeah, but he's got it. Oh, that's going to be hooking. Ooh.
And already gets the flash out of the Jace as well, so this is a flashless Jace, which is
Yep.
going to be a very juicy target for Sir Jam in the top lane.
Yeah, and suddenly this Jam path thing is looking very, very good. Now, question is Ninja Yoshi going to try and defend him here? Because I feel like right now, when in this wave's position, Oshimango can kind of just chill here, or he can decide to go hard push, but he's going in again.
He is, and this time there is no flash available. There is a ghost available for Ocean Mango, but he will not use it. And Love Eternity comes out of the trade on
flash
top,
in the bot lane.
as in the bottom lane. Kija diving on in. The Attract Repel almost stuns down Florstappen, but not quite. And the Goma Boy will just take a little bit of damage in retaliation from the bottom lane of Pit Ponies.
Yeah, actually a really good trade here for the Pit Ponies because Keisha wasn't able to hit that stun, which suddenly makes a trade with, you know, a healer on your team much better. Stinky looking a bit aggressive here as well. Barrow Mustard out of mana, but is going to be able to get away. But already lots of action in towards both these lanes, and with so many flashes already being burned, this is bound to be a bloody game.
And that's what we like to see in the early game. Lots of flashes being used because it means that junglers have so much more agency to get plays done on the map. And right now, both of our junglers, I thought both of our junglers were on the top side, but Ninja Yoshi is looking down towards his bottom side for the Scuttle Crab. As Keeja goes in, he misses the engage, and that means he's got to take so much damage. Weird things are happening on the screen, but what I can say is Keeja is definitely dead, and First Blood goes over to the side of the Pit Ponies.
Well, one thing is for sure, we both lost the minigame, so no £5 for us in that one. But that is a very, very good play here for the side of the Pit Ponies. This was the lane that kind of needed to win. This was the lane that was going to be in trouble. But now, with that First Blood on the Caitlyn, things are looking much, much more rough for them. And you can already see Surgem now looking for Love Eternity. No flash.
And then we look towards the mid lane. Gizmo, what are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, even Sir Jam is crying about it. He's like, oh, that is so sad.
That's why he didn't engage. He was like, oh, it's not on camera. What's the point?
Yeah, what's the point? Like, you want to show off, right? Who cares about winning? You just want to look good. That's what it's all about. So, but yeah, right now, this is actually looking really rough. And I'm surprised Sir Jam decided to go back here, because even though Love Eternity saw him there, look at this wave. You know, Ocean Mango could have just decided to freeze that, and then Sir Jam could have waited, which meant that Love Eternity, without the teleport, would have not been able to play the top lane at all, and that would give Ocean Mango a huge lead. But alas, that is not happening. Sir Jam now making his way towards that bot side. Looks like, surprisingly enough, both junglers deciding to go for a very farmy early game, whereas, you know, you would have expected Ninja Yoshi to have already ganked a few times by now. So hopefully we're going to get him to see, we're going to see him gank very soon, and maybe towards his top lane.
And Ninja Yoshi is a fair bit up in CS over Sir Jam, so maybe a plan here for the GOATs is to essentially say, look, let's get our Jarvan up to level 6. Once we've got the Cataclysm available, then we can really start to perma-gank some lanes.
Yeah, it's a way that you can play it right. Not ideal, but I mean, you know, if it works, it works. But especially now with Pit Ponies being in a lead, you really want to start, you know, pushing some buttons. You really want to start forcing some flashes. And, you know, you have this wave in the top side. You could have even looked to gank the Darius early on, but that's already going to be too late as well, since he will get 6 off of this wave. So, yeah, just a rather slow start from the GOATs with a team comp that I expected would have gone really fast from the start, but looking very slow right now, as we do see Sir Jam walking over towards this bot side. He has wards over the dragon. They could even potentially go for this with the push they have in the bot lane, but I think both teams, you can see that they're showing a lot of respect to one another.
Absolutely, and again, looking towards the bottom lane, a kill for the Caitlyn, really big. Flag and drag comes through, good flash from Stingy. And the ultimate will be used just to force Stingy out of lane, and maybe we can now see Bearer Mustard rotating down towards one of the side lanes.
Ninja Yoshi's in the bush here. Sir Jam can hit the Banish Stars, misses.
Very nice sidestep, and now a Love Eternity trading onto Ocean Mango. We might be seeing the mid-jungle duos making their way up, but it's going to be too late. So much damage comes through from Ocean Mango, but it is not enough. And now Ninja Yoshi on the run. The hijack Cataclysm almost gets the kill onto the Jarvan as the jungler mid are duking it out. Sir Jam might be able to survive. Flashes over the wall to safety. Ninja Yoshi and Keeja are here, and Stingy is left with nowhere to go as Keeja picks up the 3rd kill for the GOAT.
Wonderful roam here by the support. Gomer Boy still safe underneath his tower, and with the Senna, Caitlyn is hard to dive. However, he's taking damage.
That is a lot of damage flashed away. No level 6 available for the Caitlyn. No ace in the hole to secure the kill. But it is a flash down for the GOAT's ADC.
Yeah, and that is actually quite rough. Gomer could have just played it safe, stay underneath his turret, and now he has no health bar, so he's gonna likely miss some of the CS here, because it's so difficult to get that CS against the Caitlyn. However, now with the Q being used, should be alright to pick up some of the CS, especially when Ninja Yoshi is coming in for a gank.
Flagon drags in into the crash down, but Gomer Boy just can't join into this play. The Cataclysm comes through. Florstappen will die. Yoshi on the run. Keeja though engaged.
Sir Jam.
And now Sir Jam is here. We'll have a bandage toss available. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Ocean Mango pulling Love Eternity towards him. Can't get enough damage down. And the Noxian Guillotine is not yet off cooldown, as in the bottom lane, no more kills came through.
Oh, well, I talked about a slow game, but the action is really starting to ramp up now, both in the top lane and towards his bot lane. Ocean Mango tried to look for a dive, not going to get it, but without teleport for Love Eternity, he is starting to fall very, very behind. Those 2 kills definitely saving him in this lane, because otherwise Ocean Mango would have absolutely ran away with this. But in the end, 4 kills in total here for the GOATs, and look at that. Flex is kind of the saving grace, the hope here for the side of the Pit Ponies to really push forth their own lead, because right now, the top side of the side of the Goats looking very strong.
I'm just wondering who is really going to be making a play towards that first Rift Herald of the game. Rift Herald so important in being able to get those tower plates before 40 minutes when the tower plates do eventually fall off. And right now, it doesn't seem like either top laner has a significant amount of priority, but Love Eternity with that reset now does have a Serrated Dirk and a 4-field Warhammer.
Yeah, looking quite strong. And I think definitely the side of the Goats can look for this if they want to, considering, of course, that Baron Mustard is quite strong as well. And we talked about it before, right? He should be able to get the push into this lane pretty much all the time. So we'll see if now that Ninja Yoshi's posturing towards that top side, if he's going to look for an early Herald. Thing is, though, Serjam would really want that for himself as well, because getting Flex, that early turret, and sending that Caitlyn over towards the mid lane is a great way to negate the mid lane power that a Ziggs has with that Wave Flare.
I do want to praise as well Kija for that early roam up towards mid lane, because it's something that essentially enabled Goats to get a big lead. And now Ocean Mango going into a Death Brush. Ziggs ult comes through as well, and Ocean Mango chunked very low down. Serjam is hovering nearby, but Ninja Yoshi is making his way up towards the top side as well.
Yeah, and look at Stingy. He's going to be the first one actually making his way over towards Ninja Yoshi, but not going to be there in time. And Serjam didn't really have the confidence to walk too much further there, as Stingy wasn't close yet. I'm still wondering whether I'm calling him Stingy or Stingy. We'll go with Stingy because you got a Stingy, so we'll just go with Stingy for now. But yeah, both teams once again, despite the fights in the bot and the top lane, showing a lot of respect to each other, not going for any big plays, and just kind of both playing reactive. And that's where you get this weird state where there's no heralds picked up, there's no dragons picked up, because both teams not really sure if they want to go for any of those big plays.
Now, Turkey, I know you have just recently switched from play-by-play to color caster role, so now is my time to really start testing that big brain of yours, which is, do you think that this slow pace of game that we're seeing, as in the top lane, Love Eternity gets a very nice solo kill onto Ocean Mango, do you think this relatively slow start to the game favors Goats or Pit Ponies more? Aside from the fact that Goats, you know, have a 4-kill lead.
Yeah, I think it's difficult, but I think in general it actually would favor the Goats more, because they have that strong wave clear. They have a Kai'Sa who's very good into this late game as well. There is the Senna difference though, and the Sylas can also scale quite well, so it's difficult. But I think the side of the Goats are easier to play, and that's why I generally think when it comes to these kind of games, where there's also very many different elos of players in the games, I think it would favor the Goats. But honestly, could still go either way, and now the Goats are going to finally start up their first objective, and it looks like they're going to get it for free, and that will definitely favor them, because now with this dragon being picked up, they can now all get towards that herald as well, and if they can get that too, then it's going to be starting to get more difficult here for the Pit Ponies, because they're already almost 2,500 gold behind, and this top lane that was meant to win, not really, or at least they were meant to play around, not really looking as good as they would have hoped. And the Caitlyn, yes, she got a lead early on, she got that kill, but hasn't been able to push that lead forward too much. And now with the core almost completed on Kai'Sa, she's going to get relatively close money-wise as well.
And just really good play from the Goats all round, finding that window where Serjam had reset to be able to pick up the first Drake of the game. They still have a minute or so to claim the Rift Herald before, I'm not going to say the Rift Herald becomes redundant, but becomes far less useful than it would be if it was taken earlier on.
Yeah, 100%, right? Because the biggest reason why you want an early hit Rift Herald is because of those plays. And this is why loads of teams tend to just kind of forget about the second Rift Herald spawn, or, just go for it when they just so happen to have time to go for it. But it doesn't tend to be a priority unless they can maybe get like an early tier 2 turret, as they do bring up a lot of gold. But this game is not going to look like there will be early tier 2 turrets at all, since not a lot of plays have been picked up either. But just Gizmo just showed the gold up for a second as well, and we just saw that Caitlyn is 400 gold ahead of Kai'Sa, but that is without the core finished. Now with the core finished, look at the items. Kai'Sa ahead of the Caitlyn despite that early kill, and that just means that lead is completely gone.
CS relatively even between the two, and to be honest, it's actually the Caitlyn who has been able to pick up a couple of power plates, not the Kai'Sa. Love Eternity hovering around, jumps over the wall, and Serjam dies in ult animation as well. And it's just going to show that Love Eternity, now that he has this lead in the top lane, can start to push top lane in, roam around the map, and just be an absolute nuisance for the pit ponies.
Yeah, so strong this Chase right now. We might see something happen in the bot lane as well, though. Kaisa is strong, can join in with her ultimate, but Keisha's taking a lot of damage first. Here he goes.
Eventually crashes down, but
Oh,
Rel is just too low. The cleanse comes through, but I think Goma Boy might be a bit of a gunner. It's 2 kills in the bottom lane for the pit ponies as the goats just overstep their bounds.
Yep, that is definitely not it. They get a herald on the other side, but at what cost right now? Flex didn't manage to get that last play, unfortunately. But, well, we spoke about how they are quite even, but this will definitely push the lead into Caitlyn's favor right now. So, very, very good stuff. Producer wanting to let us know that Keisha did not actually use the Ignite there. Yeah, that is quite unfortunate, and it would have helped, of course, against the Senna. But alas, the play has happened. It is over now, and the goats making a bit of a misstep here. The bot lane having a troublesome time, but they still got that incredibly strong top side. And you have to think that, especially with this Herald, they're going to have to play around Love Eternity.
And Florstappen as well still has that heal available. Neither of the bottom lane duo for pit ponies using their summoners apart from that exhaustion. Now Brannigan roaming up towards the top side of the map to try to keep this Darius alive and turn the play on to the Jace. This is a 450 shutdown that gets sent into the pockets of Ocean Mango.
And that is so, so big. That is going to be so nice for this Darius to get himself that item finish. We'll be finishing the Gore Drinker with that easily. As now Stingy maybe looking in the mid lane.
Looking for the play. Stingy still has that hijack ultimate available, but no engage will come through, as in the bottom lane the Rift Herald has been placed down and first tower is secured by the goats.
Surgeon might have to flash here. Yep, there goes the flash. Good stuff here by Keisha. Those roams have been quite good, although it might still die.
One more bomb, but it is tanked up by Brannigan, and now Ninja Yoshi just trying to snipe a kill with a Demacian standard, but Surjam going all the way under the safety of his inner tower.
And this is a really good player from the Ghost, because look at this. They already put the Herald in towards the bot lane. They're moving the entire team towards the mid lane. Boom, 2 turrets just down like that. Brilliant stuff here by the Goats, already showing that team play that we were not able to see in their first game of this Welsh Esports League.
And it's a fantastic use of tempo as well by the Goats, because they're just coming off having given away 2/3 kills over to the pit ponies, but despite that they're able to find some tempo to be able to secure the first 2 towers of the game.
Yeah, very, very good stuff. So yeah, as you said, right, Love Eternity might have now missed a little bit of that lead that he initially had, but good stuff here by the Ghosts to bring it back, and they still managed to hold on to that 2,500 to 3,000 gold lead that they have. So we'll see, right? I did say that their team comp is easier to play. You have a very straightforward team fighting angle here with the Rel and the Jarvan. So we'll see what's going to happen, because we might see a team fight very soon, as the Dragon is now up. Both teams posturing around it. There is teleport on Love Eternity, so he can join the fight if he wants to.
And that's a big advantage as well for the side of Goats that we didn't talk about when we loaded into game. The fact that Love Eternity has teleport, Ocean Mango doesn't. They're able to catch Goma Boy, and in goes Ocean Mango! Picks up the kill with the ultimate, and Love Eternity isn't even joining into the play. Magnet Storm does absolutely nothing as Ocean Mango picks up the double kill. And this is going to be the second Drake of the game, the first Drake for Pit Pony.
Beautiful stuff by Ocean Mango there, finding the opportunity that he needed. It is easier to fight for the side of the Ghost, though. Can it be stolen? Doesn't get stolen. It will go over to Sir Jam. Teleport now towards the top lane to defend against Love Eternity, looking for that second tier. But beautiful, beautiful stuff by Ocean Mango, finding that opportunity, and that's exactly what their comp needs to do. Look for those opportunities, look for those picks, because when you just fight a straight 5v5 fight against a Rel and a Jarvan, you are bound to get blown up.
Dragon drag over the wall by Ninja Yoshi, pulled in by Ocean Mango's Apprehend. But Ocean Mango can't fully commit for the play, doesn't have the Noxian Guillotine off cooldown. But we have started to see these little mistakes being made by the Goats in this mid-game, just getting a little bit too eager, making plays when it's, you know, a 4v5 and Love Eternity still on the top side, not allowing them to really take full advantage of this teleport advantage that they have.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, really the biggest thing that they have, right, is the gold advantage, but also the fact that there's 3 turrets down on the side of the Pit Ponies. So for the Pit Ponies, despite the fact that they managed to win that fight with a pick, it's still very difficult for them to actually move on, to actually like walk further onto the map. So we'll see if the side of the goats can actually use that to get themselves some deep vision, as we do see now with the Scrying Blooms, the upgraded Scrying Blooms, of course. Brannigan trying to remove some of that potential vision, as now Love Eternity might be looking for Ocean Mango.
And Kija is on the top side of the map as well. The Ghost has been used. The Crash Down comes through. Locked down by the Attractor and Repel. Magnet Storm through as well. Brannigan will show up, but surely too late. And it is Love Eternity who picks up the shutdown.
Shutdown for Ocean Mango, taken back by Love Eternity. He's going to be very, very happy with that. Will be able to likely finish his second item very soon. And that is going to be a devastating Jace with so much strong poke. They must be happy now on the side of the Pit Ponies to actually have a Senna, although he teleported bot lane, might be looking for a second kill.
There is surely no way that Stingy can outplay this. There is a railgun available, but it will not be enough in the Mega Inferno Bomb, just in case Stingy managed to survive. But he didn't, and Love Eternity will pick up his 6th kill of the game.
Love Eternity just got a kill on towards the top side. Teleport the bot side, gets another kill. This guy is absolutely crushing this game. It looks like when it comes to MVP, we might both be very, very wrong here, because Love Eternity is definitely making a good case for himself here towards this top side. Brilliant stuff here. Brilliant Jace play as well. And we'll see if he can actually now use that to push his team forward, because he has been obviously side-leading the most. Now we've got his Lord Doms. Interesting choice there. Finish as well. It's definitely focused towards making sure that he can silent against the Darius at any point in the game.
I would just like to say in my defense, while Love Eternity has been playing a very good game, Brannigan 006, he's making a good shout for himself for that MVP award.
Well, Barrow Mustard, 003, we're almost there, you know. Unfortunate that the bomb didn't land, that would have been 103, but both are still in the race, I would say. I swear, our producer guys, I'm so glad you guys can't see this. Like, I don't even want to talk about what we just showed, but Love Eternity now looking for more opportunities here. Could be called out potentially. So Jam just too scared though. This Jace is so strong, he's like, I'm not engaging onto this. He could one-shot me.
Yeah, and Gizmo, could you please just bring up the goal difference again? Because I want to utilize some cool chess terminology. No, not that. That's a really cool difference. I want to see the X, yes. Okay, we'll go to this in a second, because Baron is being sneaked here by the side of the Goats.
And this is the biggest problem, right, of the fact that there's 3 turrets down off the side of the Pit Ponies. They can't really easily walk towards their own jungle, which also means that getting themselves Baron control or Dragon control is very difficult to find. And the Goats now use that opportunity to get themselves this early Baron, which likely means that more turrets are about to fall. And this is, you know, great usage by the Goats, despite the fact that they have been having trouble in the skirmishes and in those fights. They are using the map brilliantly to their advantage.
And now Gizmo has highlighted, you know, the goal difference between players. And what I really want to focus on is, where is that goal difference? So you're talking about a 5k goal lead for the side of the Goats, but that is pretty much entirely coming through the top and the jungle, which essentially means if the top and jungle aren't in the fight, it's a very even 3v3. And even if the junglers are in the fight, how effective is that goal lead on Jarvan going to be in terms of the overall outcome of the play?
Yeah, not a lot really, right? Because the Jarvan is basically what he needs to do. It's his abilities that really matter, not mainly the damage that he deals. And well, we can see his item ray. He's got a Gordrick. He's almost got a second item finished, but that is also not really, you know, the item that's going to help you deal a lot of damage in these fights. So, yeah, as you said, very good point, of course. Without the Jace, without Love Eternity in these fights, they could be completely turned around by the opponents. And we even say that they have an advantage, but despite that, you know, they don't see Jace on the map. So Dragon also going to be given over to the Goats, and the Pit Ponies are kind of just looking at the map. They're looking at the Goats just doing what they want, and they can't find any answers right now.
And they are struggling, as Love Eternity now looking for a play onto Ocean Mango. However, Brannigan is making his way over. There's a teleport as well. The Ghost use, and they want this kill onto Love Eternity. Goodbye, shutdown for Brannigan.
Oh, such a big shutdown. Also on the center, that is your scaling part of the team, but they're going on.
Flash forward, apprehend, and the Pit Ponies want more. Keita's going to be the sacrificial horse in the play, as here Doug doesn't quite land onto the Rel. Stingy still on the chase. Ninja Yoshi here as well, and the Pit Ponies will just have to settle for the 1 kill.
Look at the bot lane. Barrow Mustard has just been pushing, got the inhibitor turret already, and this is the problem for the Pit Ponies right now. Yes, they can find those fights, and every single time they have a fight, they're looking brilliant in it. But on the other hand, they are just losing out on the map. Turrets are falling left and right. It's just they're being sieged down completely, and you cannot let a Zig split push on his own, because this champion is made to destroy turrets.
And I think this really goes to show how good the macro is of the GOATs, because so often you'll see teams essentially say, hey look, let's play with a split push, but as soon as that split push gets answered, you'll see that team trying to defend the one person in the side lane instead of just pushing on the other side of the map and, you know, taking, in the case of the GOATs here, an inhibitor.
Yeah, brilliant stuff here, and I also love that, I mean, even if he could have gone for the inhibitor, that he actually did not go for it. You don't have to at this point in the game. We're getting to a point where it's really nice to have it, but does not get the inhibitor just yet. But this is, yeah, it's lovely to see it from the GOATs. You know, they're having trouble in these fights, but it almost looks like it is meant, this is what they meant to do, right? It's like they're baiting the entire team of the Pit Ponies in and just suddenly win themselves out anyway. So Kija now, you know, on that rail, has been trying to look for some place of opportunity. He's going to try again, but there's no help this time for Ocean Mango.
Just playing in the bush, chunking down Ocean Mango to about half health, and then he can look to make the play again in a few seconds' time if Ocean Mango steps too close to the wave. And you can see Love Eternity is now right behind Ocean Mango, waiting for a play as Ninja, Yoshi, and Gida are making their way down. And there's absolutely nothing that the Pit Ponies will be able to do in response. I mean, look at where everyone else is on the map. So Ocean Mango will die, and there will be no trade back.
And that is the thing, right? You talked about the great usage of the map here by the GOATs, and they're doing it again. They find themselves a kill. They're sending 3 members down there, and you think, okay, well, 3 members are down towards the bot lane. There's only a Darius there, so surely the 4 members of the Pit Ponies could be looking for something else. No, they can't, because their entire map has been destroyed. And now, look at that. The Ziggs Mega Inferno Bomb has been used as well to clear the wave. Not going to be enough just to defend this turret, however, but still, it shows that they are ready to answer any place on the map, and even now, make the plays themselves.
And that was actually the first tower that the Pit Ponies have been able to take all game. It is 5 towers to 1, and now Flex Floor Staff is stepping too far forward. Love Eternity is here as well. How much damage is there? Not quite enough, and the railgun will be enough just to dissuade the trio of the GOATs away.
Yeah, but you do get the Senna's ultimate out there, and, well, there's a dragon coming up in 130, so I think she... No, I don't think she will have that back, actually. Oh, it's a level 2 ultimate, so she may have it back. I'm not entirely sure about that, but look at the Jace now. Navori, quick plays have been finished as well. He's going for that crit as well. His 1v1 is going to be so incredibly strong. It does mean his poke is a little bit less stronger, but he's building for that side lane, and I think that is exactly what he should be doing here, because when you have a Ziggs in one lane and a Jace in the other, who are both built to just be able to clear waves, to be able to win in those side lanes, both with a teleport, I fear for the Pit Ponies that they're just going to find no way to react to this.
And the other thing that I think is really important about this as well is if Love Eternity can get onto the Caitlyn, which is the only real damage source right now for the Pit Ponies, you essentially end the fight. Even if you make it a 1-for-1 with the Jace dying as well as the Caitlyn, I don't think Pit Ponies will be able to win the 4v4 afterwards.
No, I think it's just too difficult at this point. And now Ocean Mango has to be careful. Does have to Ghost, has to pop it. Yeah, and that's another one of those big things gone here for the side of the Pit Ponies. They're just losing slowly but surely all over the map. And now with Baron coming up, I think they can just start it and just look for some poke with Jace and Ziggs on the side.
And it's 20 seconds until the Drake's up, so the Pit Ponies can't even look to trade Baron for Drake right now. And you can see Baron Mustard just... He's got so much damage on this Ziggs with so much poke, and you can see as well that Empowered Shock Blast really doing work to the health bars of the Pit Ponies. So GOATs can just continue to posture around Baron and continue to poke down the Pit Ponies.
Ocean Mango looking for a back here, but if the side of the GOATs see it, they saw it, so they might just say like, all right, we're going to go over towards the Baron, but no, instead, they're going to decide to look for their soul point here at the Dragon. It's the safer play, right? You could have gone for the Baron here, but they decide, all right, this play, there's definitely going to be no challenge for, so they get themselves the Dragon. They can then even look to back off, but this does allow for a brief opportunity here for the side of the Pit Ponies to actually get some wards here. You see Brannigan already posturing up, trying to get some kind of vision down, maybe get to remove that ward if she will be in range, but still, you don't really get any deep watch. You can't really walk far because once again, those turrets are down. You have no way to defend yourself. And look at this Flex. He's just kind of walking around in his own jungle very far away from the Baron because he just can't go anywhere. There's no vision. There is no safety.
And I'm just looking towards future team fights and thinking, okay, how can Pit Ponies play for a fight as Ocean Mango tries to flash apprehend Barrow Mustard. Barrow Mustard just steps away and sees the play coming.
I think one of the big ways for them to win is, get that big Surge Jam ultimate, get one of those catches that they had with Ocean Mango again, but now without Flash, that's going to be difficult to do. So I think the big name to be looking at is going to be Sir Mango. Can he find a big play that'll help him? Now, they finally managed to get some priority over towards this Baron, but once again, with the gold deficit that they have and Love Eternity being here, I don't know how long they can keep that priority.
Teleport coming in from Barrow Mustard. As you mentioned, priority on the side of Pit Ponies. Can they keep the goats from getting into the river? And as I say that, the goats are just slowly walking into the river, and the Pit Ponies have to yield their advantage.
Yeah, and it's just so tough to see, really. Like, they want to, and it's kind of just fake priority almost, because once the team has set up, they're going to be strong. But Ocean Mango now looking for a catch.
Making a quick play, but the Caitlin's not here in the fight. This is a 4v5. It's such a good engage from the Pit Ponies, but there is no follow-up. Barrow Mustard picks up the double kill, and it's the 2 kills that the goats need. They look for more as well. Stingy has been found. Surely there is no outplay for the Silas, and indeed there is not. Stingy will fall. Brannigan almost dies as well. Flex for Shappy will fall one back to make it a 1 for 3, but it is still the goats who come out on top.
Rusty end there for the side of the goats, but a brilliant fight by them. It looked so good at the start, but the problem was they did not have Flex and Brannigan there. Those are your damage dealers, and without those, yes, you can have the biggest curse of the Sat Mummy there, but now they're going to look for another fight. Flex going very aggressive.
Good flash out from Flex, and this is such a good play from the bottom lane duo of the Pit Ponies. They deny the Baron, and they do not die in the process. Brannigan does not have flash available. He's stuck in the Baron pit. He is not taking any aggro from the Baron, but eventually he will, and Barrow Mustard will take the spoils of war.
Yeah, you could consider that worth probably, because at least there is no Baron pickup, which means there's not more turrets to be taken likely here for the side of the Goats. So love that aggressive play here from Flex and Brannigan. And yep, we are just looking at the poor Senna who just sacrificed her life for the greater good. And now, finally, that mid lane turret that has been half health for pretty much the longest time in this game will be picked up. Objective Bounty going to be joining up as well. But looks quite decent here from the Pit Ponies, but if they can coordinate that better to have that strong bot lane duo with them in those fights, they may actually have a chance.
Now, I want to start bringing up the narrative of the Pit Ponies comeback, because yes, they are 6k gold down, but they have been a large amount of gold down for a good 10 minutes. I want to say at 20 minutes, they were about 4k gold down. So the gold deficit has not really extended that much. Actually, Gizmo, if you could bring up that lovely gold graph, I can see if I am completely deluded or if I am accurate somewhat.
He's accurate.
See, look, it's not really changed that much since about 22 minutes. So I feel like if Pit Ponies can continue to stagnate this game, they can get to a point where their Caitlyn, Darius, Silas are relatively strong. However, Goats on the Baron once more secure.
Yeah.
Ocean Mango is going to be forced to retreat. Stingy is just watching all of this unfold, but he cannot get involved in the play. And Ocean Mango will die for the 6th time this game.
That is rough here. Baron picked up the Ocean Mango. That doesn't really even matter too much at that point. But here's the side here. And Stingy looking for a play that would have actually been really, really big, because the Dragon, this is the soul for the Goats, is coming up in 40 seconds. Ghost now really looking good, looking like a solid team. They looked rough in the first week, but we talked about how important this win would be for them, and now they are in prime position to take it. It is all going to be around this Dragon. Can there be one more miracle play for the Pit Ponies? They don't have the top laner to posture and to face check the bushes though, so right now they're just gonna have to surrender all that vision control.
And we're talking about a Chemtech Soul, and if they try to make a heroic play to steal it and lose 2-3 members, there's still the Baron buff available for the Goats. They could even end the game. Now, Barrow Mustard's on the top side of the map. There is no teleport available for the Ziggs just yet. Flash of Duck. They really want to get this chase. 2 members on top of Love Eternity. Surely no way out to outplay. And the kill will go the way of the Pit Ponies. Flex is being caught out, and it will be a kill in return for the Goats. Big curse of sad money coming through, but Surge is just taking so much damage. It's a double kill
Here's
for
Mango.
Gunner Boy. Stingy will die, and Gunner Boy is a popping off. Ocean Mango surely can't outplay this, just gets run down. A quadra kill for the Kaiser, and all the while, Barrow Mustard pushes in the top lane.
That was so well played by Gomma Boy. He was positioned perfectly throughout that entire fight, waited from range, and look at Barrow Mustard. He has been in his top lane the entire time. This means they're just going to end the game.
That fight looked so close for the Pit Ponies, but in the end, the Goats come out on top, and they will be able to take the victory. It's going to be a slow end. It's just Barrow Mustard here to finish the game, but the Goats will go 1-1 in the Welsh Esports League.
Wonderful, wonderful performance here by the Goats. After a very rough loss in their first week, they managed to bounce back with some incredible, incredible team play. Yes, there were some mishaps, and yes, there were some moments where we thought maybe the miracle comeback from the Pit Ponies could come here, but it was not meant to be today.
So, Toki, important
Yes,
question.
I think we both lost.
Well, yes, we know that, but who's Gizmo giving £5 to? In other words, who was our MVP for that game?
Well, you know, in the last fight, Gomma Boy, brilliant. I don't think it was MVP for the entire game, but I mean, I feel like it was a very big team effort. It was all about the fact that they had great map movements, but we have to give it to Love Eternity. He was the reason why the entire early game was a disaster for the Pit Ponies. Not really much he was able to do they were able to do against him at all. And yes, they caught him sometimes, but every time they caught him, the team was doing something else on the other side. So they just lost and lost and lost every time they tried to kill this chase. And even now, right, we saw it in the last fight. Yes, they caught out Love Eternity, but it took them almost all of their cooldowns. And after that, Gomma Boy was there ready to clean up. So I think a brilliant game from the Jace.
Yeah, absolutely, a really fantastic performance from Love Eternity and from the Goats all around. They go 1-1. The Pit Ponies also 1-1 in the group. But I think with that, Toki, we're going to throw to a short break. And when we return, we will have our second game of the day between the Swans and the Pirates. Both teams undefeated so far. It should be an absolute banger. So make sure you stay tuned.
Learn new skills or learn employable skills. Do both and achieve more. Become an apprentice. A genius decision. Eisiau dysgu sgiliau newydd? Neu ddysgu sgiliau cyflogadwy? Gwna'r ddau a chyflawni mwy. Bydd yn brentis. Dewis doeth.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the broadcast. The Welsh Esports League brought to you by Apprenticeships Wales. Now, Toki, we had
Yes.
one entertaining game. We've got another, and I'm being told that it's going to be a very entertaining game, which makes me very excited.
Yeah, it's so entertaining that I just happened to get something in my eye for no reason at all at this very moment. It's just like even my body or whatever just flew in there. It's just like, wow, this is going to be a mad game. Yes, because the Swans and the Pirates, they are seen as the strongest teams in this league. The Pirates, who have Legacy God, who is the man who always shows up on this bot lane, the AD carry, so definitely one to watch. But the Swans, of course, big player names in there, alongside, for example, the Governor, and I think even you knew who the Governor was.
I do know who the governor is, and I'm very much looking forward to a certain name in the bottom lane called Fuyu. And for those people who don't know, Fuyu used to play in the UKEL, and this is really testing my memory of UK esports scene. But I believe Fuyu used to play in the bottom lane for, I want to say London Esports with Little Pants, but it might have been maybe London United or either way. He's a very, very good bottom laner, and I'm very excited to see this matchup between Fuyu and Legacy God, who I've been told a lot about. And I think we can expect to see so much of the action towards the bottom side of the map as a result to play around these 2-star players.
Yeah, I would 100% expect that to be the case. And that kind of also reels in a little bit how it is going in the rest of the world, right? It's definitely a very strong bot lane meta. And despite the fact in the Welsh Esports League, we've seen, people play for top, people play for mid. Most of the time when it comes to the higher levels of play, it is about that bot lane. So I would not at all be surprised if all the action is going to be happening there. If we get like some tank top lane picks, some scaling top lane picks, you just maybe get us a bit more into the LEC and the LPL kind of mood, perhaps.
So I've got a question, just to sidetrack a bit.
Yes.
What would you say to any players out there who currently feel like bot lane isn't strong enough and they then roll swap to mid because apparently bot is just turbo weak?
Are we? I feel like I'm being targeted there a little bit.
You're not. No, it's one of
No.
my mates. It's one of my friends
Oh,
who I
really?
duo with started playing mid lane. I'm like, dude, ADC's fine. And he's like, no. Anyway, we do have picks and bans coming through, and it's very weird because we've got a Jin locked in, but nothing else. So I'm very confused. We're gonna throw it away off the screen. We're gonna fix it, and then we'll bring it back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but well, we've been warned a little bit. Okay, it's been dodged. We're okay, so we're all fine. But
Dodged it.
anyway, I can go back to your question. So
Yeah.
here's the thing about bot lane. I think it's an incredibly strong lane. But it is a lane that you have to play around. And the thing about solo queue is that, because I'm imagining this is about solo queue, obviously, is you don't get junglers who will just be quote unquote always smart, like the mid laner who will then like push in and time things. You don't really do that. You don't have voice comms in solo queue, so it's much more difficult to actually make the strength of bot lane work, right? Plus, bot laners need a lot of money in order to get going, and loads of the games they might just be FF15s in solo queue. So to him, I would say, get good.
I love the turn. I was gonna follow in with like anyone who's played with me knows that I just perma roam from minute one, so it doesn't really help. I just like just get good at the end.
Yeah, sometimes that's just the answer. No, but yeah, in all honesty, like just what I'd like to do in bot lane, at least when I mainly play bot lane, it's just I have always one trick, but it's like
When you play Zoe bot lane, yeah, go on.
Yeah, we won't talk about that. I don't think that's the best pick at the moment. Although I am the best Zoe bot lane in the world. But that's not the point. I think the point is that I think go for something that is, more scaling. Like Kaiser seems to be getting back in the meta as well. Something like Twitch, which is very good in solo queue, because people won't ward as
Twitch
often
support,
as they would.
right?
In, like...
That's what Carrier does.
No, guys, stop. No,
No?
don't follow what Carrier does. No, not in solo queue. You can try. But no, I don't want to see that. But maybe Ashe. Ashe is allowed, because Ashe is actually really good support, if not the best support in this meta at the moment. If you can, use it well. But please, for the love of God, guys, in solo queue, don't pick carrier support. It's carrier, Carrier is better than all of you guys. I'm sorry to put it out there. It's just how it is. I don't mean to be a flaming caster, but I'm pretty sure we all have got enough brains to know that is the truth, right?
I could see a lot of people being in delusion right now. Like,
Yeah.
no, Who's
What?
carrier?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's bring this back to some seriousness. We'll continue talking about champions, but let's start talking about champions that we want to see being picked by
Mm.
either the Swans or the Pirates in this series. One pick that would really like to see. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put out 3 champions because I didn't see any of these 3 champions being targeted or picked in the previous game. One is Kassadin, the other is Cassante, and the final one is Zach.
Yeah, Kassadin kind of starting to fall out of the meta a little bit. I think he's still very good, but the problem with him is obviously that you tend to not have a champion until level 16, which it can be all right if you are, as a team, coordinated enough to get to that point, but a lot of the times at higher level plays, we do see that the Kassadins kind of just end up faltering and not being able to get to that place. Zach also was incredibly strong in the last patch, somehow has lost a little bit of that leeway that he used to have, but maybe we're going to see him more often. I think on a good Zach player, on someone who knows all the the good lane opportunity, or the ganking opportunities rather, he can be an absolute menace. And yeah, Cassante, one of those just safe pick in the top lanes, right? Can do the crazy outplay, but he's relatively new, so I wouldn't be surprised if loads of top laners in, for example, the Welsh Esports League haven't yet maybe even picked him up or feel comfortable enough to really, use it as one of those early game picks. So we'll see. We'll see if any of those will actually show up. But I wouldn't be surprised with these 2 teams, because these 2 teams have got some players with a lot of background and just very high elo players as well. So if there's any match that we're gonna see any of the champions, it will definitely be this one. Well, not the Zach though, because Zach is gone.
Sad times, and the Thresh being banned away from free iPhone 4S, which I want to say is a former semi-pro player, like UKEL player, but I'm not entirely sure if it is. Maokai being banned away as well, so it does seem that for the side of the Pirates, they just want to ban away, or pardon me, for the side of the Swans, they want to ban away some of those tanky frontline champions.
Yeah, Maokai is also one of those great first picks that you can use, and first pick will be going over, of course, towards the Pirates. So last time they did pick Maokai first as well, after they, completely crushed the Goats. So I think that's just a smart targeted ban. Speaking of targeted bans, we also have now the Xayah being taken away. Loads of bans focused towards the bot lane, and well, a bot lane first pick it is. Legacy God will be showing off his Varus.
I'm going to call you out there, Toki. I think that's a Varus mid because that is Hollowin's most played
Ooh, that's a good point.
champion. So it is a flex pick. Let's be real on that. So let's see how the side of the Swans want to answer that. They're going to be picking up the Lucian. Please lock in the Bard.
Yes, that would be so much more fun. I know this is probably going to be Nami, but I want to see the Bard.
No.
No! Damn it. That would have been so fun. But it makes sense, let's be honest. This is clever drafting. I mean, we see this a lot, right? Where one of the AD carries, or potentially mid laners, tends to be taken away, and then the opposing team reacts with the Lucian Nami. It is one of those combinations that is incredibly strong towards this early game. And that already tells me, we talked about how this game could be around this bot lane. Legacy God is likely already not to have a winning lane, but last time they did play the Twitch Lulu, could potentially see that again.
I would absolutely love to see the Twitch being locked in for Legacy God. Also, could even see something like the Zeri. I've been hearing rumors about Zeri coming back up in the meta. Got the likes of the Cogmore, maybe even a weird kind of angle for a Vayne here as well.
Could potentially. Vayne would be a bit too early though, since you don't really know if the enemy team is going to pick any kind of tanky champion, so could be a very weak Vayne. They decide to just go for that safety jungler pick. The Jarvan will be picked, and I think that's smart, because yes, you could go for AD carries here. The only downside is now there could be some AD carry bans coming out here for the side of the Swans, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do that, but it does set them into that jungler. But then, yeah, the Swans just say, all right, we can do the same thing. We'll just pick up this Sejuani.
And of course, there's the added smartness here. There's the added
Cleverness,
smartness
yeah,
for
works.
the side of the Pirates of essentially saying, look, you can ban away ADCs that are good with Lulu, and if you do that, we'll just put the Varus into the bot lane and pick a new mid laner.
Yeah, and that's the strength of not having the AD carry pick right now. So I do like this Varus first pick. And I actually spoke to Legacy God earlier today, and he is one of the only who says, like, no, Varus is not that broken at all. No, not that OP at all. So maybe, that means that they will be going over towards Hollowin. Who knows? But bans are coming out, and well, those champions that you've been naming, they're getting picked off bit by bit, because Cassante not going to be seen this time.
I would love to see an Elise being locked in, but with the Sejuani and Jarvan both being picked, I think there are slim chances of that. Although, while I do say that earlier today we saw Caps playing Sejuani mid for the side of G2, was paired with, I want to say it was a Belveth jungle for Yike.
Yeah, that was Yike actually with the Bell 5 jungle. I think the cast even thought he was going mid at some point, but he played it again today in the series. But yeah, also very, very strong pick. Set now taken away. These, by the way, these last two bands, Set and Nasus. We literally saw that matchup last time between the Goats and the Pirates, where the Pirates picked up the Nasus, completely crushed the Set on the opposing lane. As now Kassadin also banned out. Well, you have really just, it's just been the cast have been targeted more than anything, as the Camille has been picked up.
Proof that the teams were listening to the broadcast. Like, okay, yeah, we need to get rid of. Yeah, Milky's onto something here.
You know what? I think Riven is a really good pick, by the way. Like Riven is so
Riven, yeah.
incredible. Yeah, so good. Oh, well though. Okay, Milky. You know what?
Okay.
You've been calling out everything. I think you're the color caster for this one because this is it's getting ridiculous now. Vayne actually picked, and it makes a bit more sense, right? Because now with the Camille being picked and the Sejuani, Vayne suddenly looks a lot stronger. Gonna have a tough time in towards this bot lane, but Legacy God on the Vayne. That's about to be exciting. I can't wait.
I was just thinking how ridiculous it'd get if Twitch got locked in and the Vayne was getting taken top to play into the Camille.
Oh, no.
But I do really like this Mordekaiser pickup because I think it gives a little bit of extra safety for this Vayne. The reasoning that I'm essentially thinking of here is Vayne can't really do much if she is locked into this Hextech ultimatum, right? She's locked in place. Yes, she can go invisible, she can tumble around, but you don't really get to abuse how strong Vayne can be late game. You got a Mordekaiser, you pull the Camille away, and Vayne has a bit more freedom to rain terror in a team fight.
Yeah, and that's definitely the play that they want to make here, right? It's all going to be about the Vayne. They have to set up with the Jarvan to go in, or to even just play it rather defensively. And of course, you got Hollowin, who's going to have the Varus ultimate, the Chains of Corruption also, which is also a good, as engaged, but also as a disengaged tool. So, not the most Vayne-oriented composition that you can make, but it is definitely still potentially good enough for Legacy God to work with. As the last pick now being picked up by Volpine will be that LeBlanc looking to go aggressive in towards this mid lane. And now we're just looking at this, the comps in general. Leon highly likely going to be very much playing around this mid bot lane side.
And I'm going to be honest, I do really, really like this composition that's been locked in for the side of the Swans because they've seen this immobile Varus. They've got a Sejuani that can punish it. They've got a LeBlanc that can follow up. If they can get some kills going into this mid lane, get this LeBlanc online, LeBlanc can then rotate down towards the bottom lane where, hey, look, it's a Lucian Nami against the Vayne Lulu. They're going to be strong for a large portion of the game before that Vayne gets online. And I feel like this is really free reign for them just to exert their authority for the first 20, 25 minutes and get themselves so far ahead that the Swans can't come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pardon me, the Pirates can't come back.
The Pirates can't come back. It's fine. But yeah, true. And I think one of the strengths as well of having the Sejuani and also the LeBlanc in the mid lane as that diving bot lane, despite there being a Lulu, is actually much easier now, right? Because LeBlanc can just jump in, take turret aggro and get out. And Sejuani is early on so tanky as well that she will be completely fine in those dives. She's known as one of the stronger divers as well in the game. So we'll see if they're going to abuse that fact, if they're going to really play around this bot lane. And I think most importantly, what is Ringo Starr going to do in this game, right? Are you going to play around that bot lane? Or maybe even towards his top lane, get that Mordekaiser very far ahead to make sure that he's going to be fine in the side lane later on as well. Because Jarvan likes to have, you know, some laners that have some good setup, so you can just like, you know, get a stun, get a knock up, and done, they're dead. However, his team doesn't really have those setups, right? There's none. Like, you don't have the Pharaohs, maybe at level 6, obviously, but before that, you don't have it, and Jarvan wants to gank early. Mordekaiser, not really set up right. He's got a pull, which can help, but not really anything to, like, interrupt the LeBlanc hookshot or anything along the lines. And bot lane, well, it's a Lulu. So I think all eyes on Ringo Starr, because I feel like it is very difficult to play Jarvan into the composition that they have drafted, and I'll be very interested to see how he can pull it off.
And I was actually about to bring up that point, and you've mentioned really well how this Jarvan's going to be struggling in the early stages of the game. So I'll just follow that up by talking about the later stages of the game. You're looking to target who? A Lucian, a LeBlanc, two champions that are very mobile and can get out of that cataclysm. What's the other option? You go onto a Nami who's going to be all the way at the back of a team fight. I think it's going to be really difficult for the side of Pirates to be able to do that. So maybe, is this going to be a case of trying to lock down something like the Sejuani and saying, hey, look, we've got a Vayne. We're going to be able to front to back these team fights far better than you guys can.
That's exactly what it's going to be, and I think what the sides of the Pirates here want to do with the Jarvan is they actually don't want to use it as a form of engage necessarily, unless you can maybe find a catch.
Okay.
But they want to use it as a form of disengage. So like you have the chains of corruption, and when the Blanc, because the movement speed, you have the Nami as well, you have the wave. There's so much good engage potential from the side of the Swans. I think the side of the Pirates just kind of want to, as you said, front to back, but kind of move backwards as it happens and use the Jarvan, Flag and Drag, and the Cataclysm to just kind of pull the team or keep the side of the Swans away so that Legacy God can get to play. But it is a big ask here for Ringo Starr. It's very, very difficult to play Jarvan that way because, normally he's just go in, set up for the team, and the team will do the rest of the work. But now he actually is going to have to think much more about the plays that he's going to make, unless, as I said, it may be a catch because, one of the best champions at catching is also still going to be the Jarvan. He can jump from any wall, he can go from anywhere to, get a catch. So maybe they can find that. So get some early vision in to find some, stray Namis, perhaps some stray fish, go fishing, like, the beautiful suit that you're wearing today. And
It's the hunter's jacket, okay?
I had to do it.
I had to do it.
I had to do
I
it.
actually
Look,
don't know what it is, so yeah, it might be a fishing jacket.
okay. Well, brilliant then. Well, either way, we'll see if the Pirates can fish up this win here, because this is the big match. As we talked about, Milky, because either one of these teams is about to go 2-0, and I'm pretty sure the winner of this one, especially since the Pit Ponies lost and went 1-1, the winner of this one looking to, get very close to winning themselves that championship. Yes, there is a lot more games to go, but I think this is that big game,
And I do have to correct you a little bit there, Toki, because while the Pirates are looking to go 2-0, the Swans are already 2-0. They have beaten both the Dragons and the Robins. In fact, the Swans are very good against flying creatures, Dragons and Robins. They've done a fantastic job there.
Ooh.
How can they do against mammals? We'll find out shortly. You put a lot of emphasis on Ringo, so I'm just going to quickly go on before you have a chance to interject and make a comeback on that. You rightfully put a lot of onus on Ringo Starr to find plays in the early stages of the game. I want to look over to the other side. I'm looking towards Swans, and I already mentioned it a little bit about Volpine, but I really want to stress how important this LeBlanc can be, because a good LeBlanc can literally make or break a game. If they can find those sneaky angles to get into the backline and just absolutely burst down a squishy target, and you look over to the side of the Pirates, Vayne, Lulu, Varus, 3 very good options for this LeBlanc to try to kill.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is why I mentioned before, right, that the vision control is going to be the big name of the game here for the side of the Pirates. They need to make sure that the LeBlanc is not going to be able to find those moments, to find those opportunities, because yes, you're right, if the Lulu dies, if Legacy God dies, or if Hollowin dies early on into the match, their team composition is going to falter quite quickly, especially against the comp with, someone like the Camille, who can also then jump on, and the movement speed of the Nami with a Lucian and a Sejuani, who both have a dash to get themselves closer to the fight. This LeBlanc can definitely make or break this game, and we'll see how Volpine is going to play around it. But now we both see the junglers have both decided to actually start on the top side of the map. Makes a lot of sense for Leon, and I think for Ringo Starr, looks like he's already getting ready to play the game that we talked about him probably going to play, which is, just make sure that his team is going to be safe.
So we are now starting to get into the laning phase, and we're already seeing Baddie Splash and Free Ivan just having a nice traders in the top lane. Both top laners hit level 2, and the Governor going in with the hookshot. A relatively even trade between the pair of them.
Yeah, not too bad here. Joanne not getting called out or anything. He's just having a chill time. The wave's in a good spot at the moment. So looking all nice. Legacy God now as well, trying to catch some of that wave. And we'll see if Free Ivan and Baddie, aka Fuyu, can actually deny some of that at the moment. But it looks like it's just going to push in. But we do have Ringo Starr here. There's no ward yet. If this gank could work out, that would be an incredible boost here for the bot lane of the Pirates.
And I think it just goes to show just how volatile this game can be. Any early kill that goes any way could literally determine how the next 10-15 minutes goes.
Yeah, it really can. And now the wards have been removed here towards this bot side of the map, so they feel a little bit safer here on the side of the Swans, and Ringo Starr notices that, has immediately gone over towards his, I still keep calling it Raves, I think it's Raptors now. I'm an old schooler, okay, so it just happens sometimes. Governor though, once again going in, a bit more damage.
It's neither. We both know they're the chickens.
Yeah. Okay, chickens is, you know what? We'll go with the chickens then. See, we keep getting onto this like nice base level. Although now, Hollowin, Volpine, don't think they know Ringo's here. Volpine get exhausted, but not really going to be a fight happening.
Interesting exhaust from Hollowin, and now Leon showing up. It's a 2v2. The permafrost comes through. Surely this is going to go the way of the Swans. But no, they're just going to back away, and it is just a trade of health bars.
Yeah, and you can see, I think Free iPhone, this is the great part of the fact, you know, that their bot lane will always have priority, is that he was able to move first, so it was very difficult for Ringo and Hollowin to really push forward on that potential play, and I think the exhaust was maybe, you know, a sign of like, hey, I want to really go for this, but that does mean there's a big ability down. Volpine looking for something, but yeah, of course doesn't have the mana and the cooldowns to follow up at the moment.
And the interesting thing there is, while the ethereal chains did land onto Hollowin and did root him in place, it's a root, not a stun. So Hollowin was able to get 2 more auto attacks off, proc the press the attack, and Volpin lost a few hundred HP in the process.
Yes, it's a strong champion, that Varus. You know, you can't underestimate his power with this W. As now Governor looking for an engage, but yeah, no mana as well. Joran could be in trouble.
No mana, but a lot of health, and is just free to auto Johan down, who is too scared to try to trade back now. Ringo Starr looking towards his bottom side, going to hope that Baddie Splaff, or maybe we should say Fuyu, will E forward aggressively and lose some of that maneuverability.
Yeah, I think good patience here by the side of the Swan spot lane. You see the wave is in a good spot, so they kind of just want to freeze, and that's the toughness here, because there's no reason for them to go for that fight, no reason for them to push forward, so Ringo looked for an opportunity. If that wave had been a little bit better, he might have found it, but unfortunately, not going to find it at the moment.
The Governor hits level 6, but Johan will probably hit level 6 on this wave, and there's no way for the Governor really to abuse that level advantage.
Yeah, just going to back off now. As in the mid lane, we might see potential gank. Hollowin does have flash.
Really good ethereal chain. Hollowin forced to flash away, otherwise permafrost might have come through, and the stun on top might have just meant first blood would have gone over to the side of the Swans, but still no kill through just yet. Just summoners being burnt across the map.
Yeah, but I think that's a really big summoner, actually, because we talked about how good it could be for Volpine to be ahead and to find those potential picks. So now with the Varus with no exhaust and no flash, this is definitely a prime time for Leon to play around his bot side, because Dragon is also up, and you can already see Ringo, he's ready to make those plays. He wants to be there first, but now in the top lane we might see a potential fight. Governor misses the hookshot, but not going for anything, as now the bot lane is backing for the Swans, and Ringo starts setting up some vision towards his Dragon, but I don't think they're going to take it. I think Legacy God just wants to farm this up and just get themselves ready for a potential fight. As now Volpine looking for mid, no flash.
Really nice trade with a double distortion, and Hollowin will just lose a significant chunk of their health bar. And for you, with that reset, Serrated Dirt picked up a big CS lead. However, this is really nice from Ringo Starr, using this tempo advantage of the bottom lane reset to sneak in the first Drake of the game.
Yeah, that's actually super, super good for them, because they are the ones who want to, you know, take this game to the very late game. So to have that early Dragon, I don't think they can go for the extra Scholar. That might be a bit, biting off a bit more than they can chew, but having that is very, very good. That's a respect flash here.
Llewellyn, with that, as you mentioned, respect flash, just really scared of the Aqua Prison, and Leon was hovering around nearby, didn't want to take any chances. Ringo Starr just said, "Come at me, bruh," and took the bait.
He definitely took the bait, but, you know, didn't get reeled in, luckily, so he's all fine at the moment. But I think, yeah, if you look a bit at the map now, because this game has been very slow, and you can see that both these teams are very controlled, right? They know exactly what the plan is and what they want to do. And in that sense, considering, you know, Legacy God is on that vein, I think they're doing fine. Ooh, that's a good chain of the corruption.
Flag and Drag narrowly misses out on the knock-up onto Leon, who just times that Arctic Assault really well. Nothing comes through. It is just the ultimate burnt by Hollowin. But now he doesn't have an ult. He doesn't have a flash. He's becoming more susceptible to that mid-lane gank by the minute.
Yeah, 100% true. So we'll see if that is going to be followed up on at all. We're seeing a lot of this top lane, but it's actually the most even lane that we have. As we look at the bot lane, that's of course the biggest lane, right? We have 25 CS lead towards this bot lane. It's kind of we expected, right? With the Lucian army, you do expect them to get ahead early on. And when you look at the items selected Dirk on the Lucian, he's really going for that burst to try and get Legacy God caught off guard here. You see how far he's posturing up. He's not scared at all from this bot lane. But Ringo Starr, once again, is there. This time there's a pink, though, so could be looking for it.
And don't forget, Flash still available for you as Engage comes through on the top side by the Governor. Johan trying to trade back, and here comes Ringo Starr. First blood available. Flag and Drag will land good. Aqua Prison, Cataclysm used, Flash away, and the Culling almost gets a kill. Now the exhaust onto Legacy God, and this is a 2v3 that comes off relatively successfully for the Swans.
That's the strength of the Lucian Nami. He might look for more.
Oh, one more auto, can't quite get close enough to Slowell. You know what, I completely flopped that. We knew it was gonna happen one time this game.
I already said before this game, like, I'm probably just gonna call them by the champion that they're playing because I'm gonna be honest, I'm not Welsh. I have no clue how you pronounce that.
Llewellyn. There we go.
Llewellyn. All right. We'll try our best for the next time. But this brilliant play for the Swans. Yeah,
go on.
we'll just yeah. I'll do my best. If I do it wrong, you know, chat, you guys can shout at me. It's all fine. But yeah, brilliant play there, honestly, by the side of the Swans bot lane. That's good chain corruption. That was brilliant.
That was a really nice predict, but to be honest, considering he predicted that the LeBlanc was going to dash away, it kind of becomes a pointless ult to do, unless he was predicting an aggressive distortion forward, and then to root the tower.
Yeah, you know what? Sure, you know, we'll give him that. I think that does make it look a lot better. But I think, you know, maybe try to look for something else, or maybe realize once he sent it that he doesn't have anything to follow it up with. But either way, he actually wants to trade.
This time the exhaust is definitely necessary. Piercing arrow, the flash is too early, and Vulpin can't hold his nerve. Hollowin does, and Hollowin takes a well-deserved first blood.
What a beautiful play there by Hollowin. A wonderful arrow there to take the kill. The damage of the Varus showing why he is so incredibly strong. Top lane also looking for a bit of a fight, but they have just been trading all the time. But wow, that is an important kill as well, because a LeBlanc when behind is not that terrifying killer.
And now Vulpin has to play from behind. One kill for Hollowin, a bit of extra gold going his way. And let's not forget, there's a Rift Herald available for Leon, and now he can't drop that in the mid lane. He surely wants to put it towards his bottom lane, get even more tower plates into Fuyu's Lucian.
Yeah, and I love how Ringo Starr, he's just always there at the right time. He knows when to be bot lane. He knows that, you know, the mid lane is dead, so they're going to go with the hell towards the bot lane. So he's like, all right, I'm just going to posture up here. But now, this is what I've wanted to see. Vulpine now making his way over towards the bot lane. It's going to be a 4v5.
And for you, just having a quick trade onto Legacy God, there won't be any tower dive coming through. The culling will chip Legacy down to about half health. And big Q piercing light from Fuyu, just getting this Vayne ever lower.
Yeah, this Legacy God's having a bit of a troublesome situation in this towards the bot lane. I don't know if he can stay. Yes, he got Ringo around, but there's so much burst on this Lucian. You do have the wild growth. Are they going to go for it though?
And Fuyu takes more damage. I'm not sure from what the Ardent Blaze did land. Scorch, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Could be the potential case, but now Vulpine is in the bot lane looking for a fight.
Oh, so much damage. Ethereal Chains will root him in place. In the second, Ethereal Chains come through. The Wild Growth keeps Ringo alive. The Ignite, though, ticking down. Another distortion forward. Sidesteps on the Tidal Wave, and somehow the bottom lane of the Pirates are still alive. However, we want to see more. There's a teleport coming through. Hollowin will be able to flash out to safety, but Johan is here as well. The Governor has a teleport, but it's not 14 minutes, so it's not an unleashed teleport, and the side of the Swans will just back away. Good distortion out of the Death's Grasp, and there aren't any more kills coming through. Vulpine just having a think about distorting back over the wall, decides against it, and all of this means that the Governor's going to be picking up some free plates in the top lane.
Yeah, free plates, a dragon, definitely looking good here for the Swans, despite the fact that I haven't found a kill there. They definitely got the play on the map. We have a 40 CS lead now in the bot lane as well, and even more plays picked up. It looks rather close, but look at the gold differentials right now. The Swans are picking up the pace.
A really good early game for the side of the Swans, despite giving away that one kill in the mid lane, and you can start to see now that they have the Lost Chapter completed for Vulpine, they can start to shove in that mid wave, start to make plays around the map, and now Rift Herald drop down as well.
Yeah, it's going to put Volpine in a much better position, gets himself 2 extra plates as well. Ringo wanted to try and look for a play there to kind of counter-react it, but HoloWin will just be able to farm up this wave. But the Swans, good start from them here to make sure that they get themselves back from that deficit. So now with that Dragon, that also means that Soul is going to be a much later timer, but most importantly, of course, the Pirates did manage to get that first Dragon, so even if Swans, and which might be likely with their composition, are going to get more Legacy God.
Going forward with the Gale Force, however, the Condemn will push Fuyu back, but this just means that Legacy is forced to recall, and the Nami is well and truly baked. Somehow the Flag and Drag doesn't land. Aqua Prison does. Fuyu, though, looking to maybe turn this one around, doesn't have enough damage. Dashes away before the Chains of Corruption can land. It's just the 1 kill going over to the side of the Pirates.
Yeah, well, that's a good kill, though. It goes to the Jarvan, not necessarily the one you wanted on. There's what here, Ringo?
Vision, double distortion, the Wild Growth keeps the Jarvan alive, and Vulpin will be forced to retreat.
Yeah, this is the scary LeBlanc that we talked about, right? This is what the LeBlanc can do, jump over the wall and get those kills. And now with the Luden complete, it does a lot of damage. This is a big spike here for that LeBlanc. Doesn't find it yet, though. HoloWin has been so strong on this Varus. It just keeps surprising me how much damage this guy does once his stacks have been set up. But yeah, he's been farming quite well towards this mid lane too. So all in all, decent stuff here from the Pirates. They get themselves a little bit back. It's still a 2,000 gold deficit, but it is not looking too bad, although it could be worse.
Flash forward with the Arctic Assault, and that is the CC they were looking for. Leon will pick up the kill, and the Swans get their first kill of the game.
Yeah, good kill there as well. HoloWin not going to be able to be safe there, and that is the strength of a Sejuani, especially with that flash. You have so much engagement, and now Ringo is in trouble. That's a lot of damage.
Okay, Fuyu, calm down. Sees the Jarvan in his own jungle and says, nope, those are my Krugs, get out.
And you know what, the difficult part of that is Ringo has been around this bot lane all the time to try and defend Legacy God, but look at the mid lane now. It's been left completely open, especially since HoloWin died. So now could be an early turret. No place, of course, anymore, but the early mid lane turret is so important to have because it completely opens up the map and it's going to make it even more difficult for the Pirates to look for any challenges, whether it comes to Heralds or Dragons. And speaking of the Heralds, this one's going to be picked up by Leon as well.
And despite those 2 kills going the way of the Pirates, one of those being a first blood, it is 2 towers picked up by the Swans. 5 plates for Fuyu's Lucian. I think it was 4 plates for Vulpine on this LeBlanc, which is why he has a Luden's Pulse completed, Sorcery Boots as well, and HoloWin still yet to pick up their first item.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing that we can see, right? Guild was also completed on Valley, so now maybe you can find a gang towards the top lane. Only have to support that, though. I don't think Jarvan has the damage to actually, kill a tanky Camille like that with that item completed as well. So yeah, the items are getting in right now, and this is going to be the point where the Pirates are going to have to say, all right, I don't think we're going to be able to challenge them in fights at the moment, so we need to make sure that we can just farm up and get some vision in our own jungle, so that if the Swans want to go aggressive, we can maybe look for a pick.
We do have a Drake up in 48 seconds time. The Swans will be looking for their second Drake of the game as Fuyu is just terrorizing Ringo in his own jungle. And just trying to get as much CS as possible on that. Nearly 170 at 17 minutes. Well, is that 170 at 17 minutes? Really incredible CSing from Fuyu so far this game.
Yeah, looking super, super strong. Had a free lane, but now, Ringo.
Ethereal Chain to land. There is nowhere for the Jarvan to go, and Vulpin will take their first kill of the game.
Yeah, good stuff there. Ringo couldn't even move. They have so much CC. HoloWin now could be in trouble as well. Does that flash not yet
Ethereal Chains land. Over the wall comes the team, and the Wild Growth will not be enough to keep the mid laner alive. And now this is just going to be even more damage. Ringo coming in so aggressive, gets polymorph pulled into the death round, will surely die, uses the culling, but it does absolutely no damage whatsoever to the Mordekaiser.
I was about to say, this was really good here from the side of the Swans. They're really starting to push their lead forward, but then Fuyu is like, I want more, I want much more. Might be a little bit too much now, because that is a big kill on the Mordekaiser, and that Mordekaiser is going to look a lot better now in towards this solo lane as well. So it could even be a gank on the Governor, gonna be somewhat interrupted. Governor goes back in though, that could be a mistake.
Re-engages, then sees Johan and thinks, oh dearie me, but gets a lot of damage back onto Ringo Star. HoloWin making his way over, and it is a hook shot right into the Varus. Flag and drag over the wall. The Governor knocked up, and the Governor is shut down.
Way too much aggression by the Governor there, knowing that his team is doing the Dragon, and likely knowing as well that the Pirates cannot contest this because of the item differentials, and also because of the fact that they have the champions that they have. So Governor going a little bit too aggressive there, giving a shutdown over to Hollowin, who is getting stronger and stronger on his Varus now. The Pirates keep finding ways to stay in this game.
And the Pirates getting another kill. This Mordekaiser is scarily strong, as is Hollowin, if he can get time to land the Chains of Corruption and get off a few piercing arrows as well. But it is still the Swans in the lead. They have a 5k goal lead despite being a kill behind.
Yeah, looking still quite strong in the Swans. They've made some mistakes which allowed the Pirates to get themselves a little bit back, but now Volpine looking for another catch on Ringo.
Ethereal Chains land, rooted in place. A Flag and Drag can't take him out to safety. There comes the second Flag and Drag. Wild Growth will not keep the Jarvan alive. And the ult comes through to get the slow onto the Lulu. It's a double kill for Fuyu, and this time he has his team around him. Death Grasp comes through, forces the Nami to flash away. Legacy on the run, gets over the wall and out to safety. But now maybe the turn for the side of the Pirates, but they decide against it, and it is just the 2 kills going over to the side of the Swans.
And look at how deep in the jungle the Swans are at the moment. Holloway now.
The real Chains land, dashes away, but takes so much damage in the process. And Hollowin didn't even have to use his exhaust there.
Yeah, pretty good trader from Holloway, showing that he can actually stand up to this LeBlanc right now. Is the Governor going a bit aggressive here? This might be a bit too forced trying to get this turret, but yeah, they can just back away anyway. You see the Mad Cat, he's like, we want that turret, but they're not going to get it today. The Swans trying to bite off a little bit more than they can chew, but this time around, at least they don't make a big mistake like giving away a shutdown.
And something I do want to ask you, Toki, is on itemization. Because Fuyu has picked up the Collector, which I feel like is everyone's Marmite. Some people absolutely love to see it, some people really hate it. And I feel here with Johan being so tanky, having the plated steel caps and the bramble vest, do you think this Collector is the right choice over, let's say, a Lord Dominic's Regards or Navori Quick played as? Again, Fuyu going so aggressively, still somehow alive, dashes out of the Cataclysm as in the top lane. Johan taking so much damage in a 1v2, will fall, and Fuyu somehow survived. And now Volpin looking to go in, has another distortion available, but returns back to his original image.
Yeah, the Swans looking so strong right now. And yes, I am a Collector hater myself. Look at Volpine just between the 2 turrets right now, and he doesn't care. It's a LeBlanc. Legacy God is forced to actually stop this back and just walk over towards the base, and that is rough because Baron is up now. The only downside is for the side of the Swans that Lucian is very low, so maybe they cannot go for it, but they want to force down this turret. But I think the Collector here, the reason why you go for it here is because they really want to end this game quickly, right? They don't want this to go for a long time. And having this second item right now, when the tankiness hasn't yet come through for Johan and Ringo Starr, this is where it shines.
Distortion makes the Ethereal Chains land, but not until Ringo Starr escapes with a Flag and Drag, the blue buff just resetting. But it's a bit of an issue for the Swans as they try to steal this away, and they sadly can't because Ringo Starr, I don't know if he swiped it or was just able to secure it, but they want a blood. 5 members of the Pirates making their way into the river, but decide against fully engaging. The Swans will reset. And critically, we do have a Drake in 1.5 minutes time, which will be presumably what the Swans will be looking to secure.
Yeah, that's going to be their sole point. They're definitely going to want that. The question is how the Pirates actually going to look to, fight that. And it was an unfortunate chance here because Ringo Starr, he saw the opportunity because there was no Fuyu right there. The downside of the Jarvan is, yes, you have a lot of engaged power, and yes, you have far range to engage, but if your team is unable to follow up, you have a Varus of Vayne, they're not going to be able to get there quick enough, so he cannot actually go for that. So unfortunate opportunity that the Pirates could not take, but Dragon is coming up in 55 seconds. You can see now all the sides of the Pirates have backed off, so they got their items ready. We have now 1 item finished on the Vayne as well, which is, it's not going to be enough yet to really start getting to that powerful time, but you can see how the Pirates, it's kind of like, where do we go, right? Do we go towards this Baron? Do we go towards the Sejuani, I suppose? It's not going to be a kill here for sure, because there's no damage dealer right there. But the question is, What are they going to challenge? And if they're going to challenge anything at all, how are they going to respond? Are they just going to send the solo laners to the sides? It looks like, by the way they are posturing, that they do want to look for a potential fight.
And I'm just wondering as well, if the Swans look to take this Drake, is there a way that the side of the Pirates can maybe rush down Baron with a Vayne, but the fight's coming through. The Glacial Prison lands and I messed it up again, but the Lulu has fallen once more. There is nowhere for Halloween to go. Flash forward with the distortion. The Arctic Assault will land, and Halloween will fall surely. As Leon just about gets the kill, and Johan stepping too far forward in an attempt to keep their mid lane alive. Volpin is on the run, is going to get slapped down. Johan will get a kill, but it will just be a single kill. As now it's a Mordekaiser against 4, and the 4 of the Swans come out on top.
And the Swans are too strong at the moment, just being annoying to the pirate ship, just all those quacking sounds all around them. They just can't handle it anymore, and now the Baron is going to be joining their team as well, and the Swans are really starting to push the lead forward. 10,000 gold right now, and even though it doesn't look that way, this is a very, very good play from the Swans, but a good response right now from the Pirates as well. They say, okay, quickly, let's take this dragon, because otherwise the soul point will also be for the Swans, and at least now they delay the dragon soul.
And it's something that we talked about before, the scaling that the Pirates have available to them. And Legacy God has a while to go, only has one item, that Blade of the Rune King, but look at the flank coming through from the Governor, teleporting in behind with a hookshot, trying to find Ringo's Star, but the Pirates should be able to escape this play.
That's actually a really big win for the Pirates. Like, I don't know if they noticed that potentially, that teleport there being there, but now that means they have a teleport advantage, which means they can actually send Johan over to one of the side lanes, and the Governor kind of has to choose, do you stick with the team at this point, or do you actually go towards the silent because you're not able to join your team right now? So good stuff here for the Pirates. Governor looking for a potential play there, unable to find it. It's not a huge win, of course, but any win at this point the Pirates will take, because not having the teleport, that does mean, for example, that it could be more time on their hands since there is no split push. She was going to take some turrets on the side, so this could be one of those potential moments where the Pirates are going to feel a little bit safe, although Ringo Star...
Okay, Fu, calm down. Just going in, a 1v2. Has his team around him. Wild Growth comes through onto the Mordekaiser. Tidal Wave finds the lockup, and the Mordekaiser will surely fall. Johan, double distortion forward, and Volpin does so much damage as the Swans are just tearing through the Pirates. Hookshot in from behind. The Governor with a Hextech ultimatum, and it is only Legacy God left standing, but he will not stand for much longer. As the Leon and Governor will both fall. It is 4 kills for 2, and the Swans are marching down the mid lane.
Legacy God is a god no longer on his own. It is Fuyu who's taken a crown, and they're looking to end the game. Legacy God, can he pull a magic?
Well, he's pulled the magic trick of going gold, and Fuyu, though, with so much damage, will find the ace. Almost dies to the tower, and the Swans will have to wait for this wave, but there are members of the Pirates respawning, and I think the Swans will have to wait to have their last laugh a little bit later.
Yeah, that's 750 gold used by Legacy God just to save the game. Will that be enough to actually turn this around and make them win it? Now it's 26 minutes into the game. It is a 13,000 gold lead right now in favor of the Swans. And yes, we talked about that late game of the side of the Pirates, but you just get to a point now where it doesn't really matter anymore. The lead is so massive, and the Swans are using the map so well, getting those turrets, getting those pushes in, and now having that mid lane inhibitor down as well means they can't just leave that mid lane alive. Send 4 people towards the top lane, send Governor towards that bot lane, which is exactly what they're looking to do right now, and just push for the win slowly but surely. The Pirates, they need to look for some kind of pick, but with no advantage, with no turrets, with no vision, it is Fuyu who's looking for the picks instead.
Finds so much damage onto the Lulu, but not quite enough to find the kill. Hookshot coming through from the Governor. Engaged from Ringo, but he just gets absolutely blown to pieces. And Fuyu just stepping forward aggressively, gets hit by the bull of the Mordekaiser.
Legacy
and
God!
it's a shutdown for Legacy God. Is this the turnaround for the Pirates? 2 kills, 2 shutdowns, and the Pirates want more.
He's going!
Another tumble forward from Legacy. Can he get on top of the Nami? The Sejuani in retreat. Another tumble forward. He's looking for the Nami. Johnny, one more auto, finds the kill, tries to climb back, but it's a kill in return for Vulpin. Distortion forward, Ignite kicking down onto Johan, but so much damage from the piercing arrow as Hollowin pulls one more back. Vulpin, though, still hovering around, does not have the ultimate available, and in the end, it is 4 kills for 2 in favor of the Pirates.
He's finally popped off. Legacy God gets his moment to shine to save the game, and Hollowin cleans up afterwards. Ringo Starr, it looked like an engage that was never going to work. He just went in, jumped in, and just immediately died, and it looked like a disaster. But Fuyu, he's been so aggressive this entire game. This time overstepped a little bit too much and got shut down by Legacy God. If there's any way for them to get back in, it is those shutdowns on the Vayne, and this is why you can see it now. There has been so much respect put on the name of Legacy God.
There is a reason why the Swans wanted to play aggressive early game and they didn't want to give the Pirates any time to come back in. But while the Pirates won that fight, they weren't able to get any objectives. And now they have to win a fight all over again. And the Lulu is locked down in the Hextech Ultimatum. Nowhere to go. And Fuyu will find one. It's now a 5v4. And I don't even think the Swans want the Drake. They want to end this game right now.
Yep, they want to go for it right now. There's still 2 turrets up though, so if the side of the Pirates stay away...
So much damage coming through. Fuyu finding damage in the realm of death. Gets the kill. It's a 5v3 and the Pirates are being massacred. Fuyu somehow survives. It's a triple kill for the Lucian. It's an ace for the Swans, who will go 3-0 in the Welsh Esports League.
No hope anymore for the Pirates. They tried, but this time around they couldn't succeed. Wonderfully played there by the Swans. They did exactly what the team comp was made out to do, which was deny Legacy God from having any chance in this game. And despite that wondrous play, no chances were left for him. Wonderful, wonderful stuff from the Swans, and they show why they look to be the strongest team in this league.
And now they're 3-0. They're going to be looking at the top spot in the league. They've beaten the Pirates. They've beaten, well, the Goats, lost to the Pirates. So it's looking like it is almost a done deal that they will win the group and the tournament, but still more games to go. And the Swans showing that they know how to play to their comp's advantages. They know how to draft, and they have the mechanics to be able to follow up on any play that they want to.
Yeah, and I think, you know, despite that, still a good play here from the Pirates. I don't think they were necessarily played it badly, but the problem was obviously the fact that they went so much scaling, and this Java pick, we talked about how difficult it was to execute, and we saw it at the end, right? Like, he went in and he looked for those plays, but there's no follow-up in this team. This team doesn't really work around that, so it just felt like a very odd pick. So, you know, maybe the Pirates next time they can look at the draft and see what they could have done differently to make sure that they can, you know, actually turn back and maybe get themselves a first place later on. But right now it is all on the Swans to lose this at this point. They don't have to face the Pirates anymore, so it's all on them right now. So we'll see if they're going to be able to push forth to a first place.
Final question for you then, Turkey, before
Yes.
we bring the stream to a close, is MVP of that game.
I mean, that has to go to Batty on Lucian, right? I feel like the aggression that he showed was incredible. It went from the early lane all the way to the late. I mean, yes, there was this one big mistake, but at that point, there was still 13,000 goals ahead. And it's just one of those things. It's like, oh yeah, guys, can happen. Let's just regroup, make sure that we catch someone out. They called the Lulu, and at that point, it was still game over. So fantastic game by Batty, but all in all, a brilliant team effort.
Yeah, and I do really want to give a lot of praise to both jungle and mid lane. I think despite giving away first blood early on from Vulpin, still found those really critical angles I was talking about at the start of the game to just put so much pressure onto the Pirates and Sejuani just everywhere on the map, finding these really big glacial prisons.
Yeah, fantastic. Honestly, just fantastic plays here by the Swans. And this is one of those things we've seen loads of people in this Welsh Esports League pick those scaling comms. And most of the time, the teams that picked those early game comms were not able to execute it. So it's actually really nice to see the Swans going for an early game comp and actually executing it very, very well. And I think all the other teams can definitely look at this game and think like, all right, so that is maybe how we need to play those games. And perhaps they can also improve, because most of them are going to still have to face the Swans, and they are looking like a force.
Yep. Well, the Swans show that they not only just beat birds, but they can beat the mammals as well, taking down the Pirates. This has been the Welsh Esports League, brought to you by Apprenticeships Wales, and we'll see you next time for match day 3 of the League of Legends tournament.
Learn new skills or learn employable skills. Do both and achieve more. Become an apprentice, a genius decision. Eisiau dysgu sgiliau newydd? Neu ddysgu sgiliau cyflogadwy? Gwna'r ddau a chyflawni mwy. Bydd yn brentis, dewis doeth. Learn new skills or learn